Welcome back. I know today is an intense topic, sex, men, and God. We are at war whether we want to be or not. Earlier, we talked about how to protect your children, and please, if you need help with that, reach out and get it. Now I want to talk about providing an example. Look at yourself as a man, and ladies, you need to look at this too. What example are you providing? You know, we are the written epistle. Okay, Scripture talks about that. We are the epistle that our children will read more than any Bible they ever will. Okay, and they will learn more about God by how we behave in the fear of God or in the love of God or in the absence of that. They will learn we're religious or we're real. Okay, now if you're real, you are leaving an example for your children to follow. I'm going to walk through some of the same points, but let's apply it to us. In Sex, Men, and God, you get a really good primer on some of these topics. But how do we apply it to leaving a legacy? My kids grew up without TV. They didn't have TV until about maybe late junior high school or high school, and it was very infrequently used in their life. Oftentimes, they were watching videos. Remember those? or the disc, they were watching a movie that was already kind of approved, okay? They didn't sit around watching secular television. And then sometimes we had these old series like Beverly Hillbillies or something like that. They could watch something like that. But they were not exposed to the culture of constant sexual beratement of women and objectifying women and all the bad stuff that goes on with secular television, okay? And they saw that Doug didn't watch TV. Doug, they don't have too many memories of me sitting in front of a TV unless it was a Super Bowl or the elections. That's their memory. Dad didn't sit in front of TV. Okay? That's how I write so many books. That's how I get things done. It's how I got to play with them, be with them, pick them up, drop them off, do all the things that dads do, right? But they don't have memory of dad sitting in a chair. And if you're giving your children memory of being a man is sitting in a chair and watching someone else live their lives that are pretending to be someone else, that's a sad memory, okay? So how are you role-playing your own entertainment limitations? Do you have any boundaries as far as how often and what you look at? Are you allowed to look at nudity? Do they see you watch R-rated movies? Do you give a pass to PG-13 nudity on television? All right? What's your example? What's your example as far as movies? See, when my kids were growing up, we had to go into Plugged In Online or some other version of that and find out what was in the movie to see if there was nudity or things that we would find offensive in the movie before the kids would go to the movie. And as the kids got older, this got frustrating to them. They would say, well, our friends are going to watch this movie. I go, well, your friends' parents are failing them because they're going to go watch nudity, and I don't want you to watch that. Okay, we even got this program that took out nudity. You could watch it on a DVD and it would take it out. It was electronic. It was really cool. So we could watch those movies later without the nudity or without the excess whatever it would filter out. And so I was really intentional about protecting my children from that. And my example was I wouldn't go to that movie either. I go, well, you're not going, but I'm not going. I'm not going to watch, X movie because it's inappropriate. It's inappropriate for a Christian person. Doesn't matter if you're 14 or if you're 50. It's inappropriate. So I'm not going to go. And you're not going to go either. And they fussed, but you know what their memory is? I protected them. And so even today, they have an awareness of knowing to filter their entertainment. Now, whether they use it's up to them. But do they have an example of that with me? Yes. Let's go to the internet. My kids knew. On my phone, I had a porn blocker. If you go to our website, you can get the same porn blocker on our phone. Okay? So my kids had the same porn blocker I had. And if they got frustrated, it's because something was being blocked. That was okay with me. That was way better with me than them being ravaged by all kinds of sexual perversion. That was my job as a man to protect my family. So I had a porn blocker. And my wife got the accountability report. Now, there was never anything on it because I didn't go places I shouldn't go. I just didn't want to do that. Okay, I've been sober for 37 years and didn't want to do that. Didn't believe in a secret world. Okay? Now, if you don't have a porn blocker, it's going to be hard for you to sell that your kids should have a porn blocker. But you definitely need one because the internet is ravaging. Social media. My staff does my social media. I'm not on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. They do that. And you should be aware of what your children are on. Apps. Our children, they couldn't just put apps on their phone. So it's time for us to kind of step into this as examples. I didn't have apps on my phone. I actually don't like a lot of apps, okay? I was at a restaurant just the other day, and they had a discount for if you were a member of their restaurant. And I'm going there a lot because I'm doing a certain diet right now. I'm like, and the girl said, well, you have to download our app. And I'm like, nah, okay, I'm not doing an app. Okay, I have an aversion to some of that. That's just my age. You know, enjoy all the apps you want as long as they're good and godly and great. Do that. But there's a lot that aren't. And do you know, on your own phone, are you protecting your own phone? Who knows what's on your phone? Okay? Then it's important for you to have an example as far as accountability. Okay, I've had an accountability bill for over 25 years. And my children know I'm accountable to Bill. So if anything happens on my little radar when I was traveling or something popped up on the internet or something like that, they knew I would call Bill. And both my children know that Dad had accountability in the area of sexuality. He wasn't trying to be a rock star, even though I'm Dr. Doug Weiss. I'm the president of the American Association for Sex Addiction Therapy. I'm the executive director of Heart to Heart Counseling Center. I've written more books on sexual freedom than most men ever, okay? But I had accountability. And my children saw the accountability process in my life. And men, if you don't have accountability, I strongly encourage you to get it. Because you're at war whether you want to be or not. And if you think the enemy's not going to attack you, that's not the brightest approach. I would be prepared to be attacked and be better in the battle is a better plan. And Sex, Men, and God's going to give you some strategies to work on some of that stuff. And you do deserve to have Sex, Men, and God. Get that. It's a great just kind of training on sexuality for men. Very Christian, you'll love it, and it will give you some really good ideas to leaving a legacy, what we're talking about today. So please move forward on this.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.